Hi, guys. This week in writing, we're going to be doing something yet a little bit different. Hopefully, by now, you have listened to the story A Surprise Reunion, which is what Mrs. Holbert read to you earlier in the week. The story is a historical fiction based around the event of Sacagawea and her brother, Chief Camowate. And the story itself was more about Chief Camowate than it was Sacagawea. We only were introduced to Sacagawea at the very end of the story. But what you're going to be doing this week is you are going to be digging into Sacagawea's life and getting a little bit more information and writing a news article about her. So let's talk about that and what it's going to look like. So last week we wrote a journal entry. And when you write a journal entry, you're doing that in first person point of view. News articles, however, are not written in the first person point of view because you're not part of the story. You're actually reporting the news about somebody else or a different event. So, with a news article, you are going to write in third person point of view. So, this is when the narrator or you who's writing it is not in the story. You're not a part of the story. You're really just an outside observer telling what you see. So, you might use the pronouns she, he, her, him, or they, because those are all third person pronouns that you use when you write. The writing itself, you are going to be, first of all, listening to and watching this very short video. It's only about 3 minutes long, but it kind of talks about Sacagawea's life from the time that she was born up until later in her life. So, what I would like you to do as you're watching this story is I would like you to get out a sheet of paper, make sure you have a pencil in hand, and as you listen to the story, I want you to write down, so pause the video if you need to, but I want you to write down kind of the main points in her life, when she was born, where she was born, what happened in her childhood, what traumatic event happened when she was a young girl. And then just make some bullet points. You don't have to write complete sentences, but just get a couple things down on your sheet of paper so when you actually go to do your news article, it'll be much better and you'll have all that information. So, what I would like to talk about too is in a news article, we call it upside down writing. And here's why I'm going to tell you about that. First of all, if you think about somebody's life events as a triangle, right up here at the very tippy top of the triangle is when a person is born. And as you get further and further down the triangle, you get more and more space because that person's life is full of different events. As they get older, there's more events that happen. So a normal right side up triangle is a normal person's life. But if you think back to Sacagawea and kind of where the point that I want you to get to, probably the most traumatic event that she experienced is when she gets reunited with her Shoshone brother, Chief Camowate. And once she gets reunited with him, that's kind of the bottom of her life that we read about in the story. And that's kind of the main point that I want you to acknowledge in this news article. So why we call it upside down writing is if you think about somebody's life and flip it upside down, this event that happened that was just really powerful in her life, we're going to think about that as the top of this upside down triangle. And that is the main point that you need to start with when you write your article. The reason behind that is when a news article or a newspaper comes out, because there are so many articles in it, many people only read the beginning of a news article. They don't read all the fine detail that comes after it. And so, with a newspaper article, you should always include the main point of your story right at the beginning because that might be the only part that gets read. So, in an upside down triangle writing, like this news article, I want you to start with this traumatic event in her life. And I want you to tell me the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. That can be wrapped up right at the beginning of your article in a couple of very short or medium sized sentences. So once you have this information about the event in Sacagawea's life, then you can go back and kind of talk about other events in her life which led up to this very important event. So I've left a space here as well for you to add a caption and a photo. So in this little box, if you want to add a photo of Sacagawea, you're welcome to do that. And then, of course, a caption down at the bottom because we couldn't have that have a photo without having a caption to tell us about it. So enjoy this week's assignment. And again, once you get this done, please go ahead and turn it in through Google Classroom. Good luck and have fun. You'll want to go and watch your video so that you can get those important facts about Sacagawea.